Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're stripping down the E36. The 2023 build starts right now, but it can't start without all the parts that we need off this car first. So it's kind of cool. I always get excited about stripping down stuff because it's way easier to strip it than it is to put it together. We just undo bolts until things start to fall off the car, which is nice and fun. So the aim is pretty much to have this thing down to a shell, and that way we can have someone pick it up, take it away, and then we can get the new shell in here, which we need to go and pick up from my friend Nathan, and we can start working on the build. Now, I've still got a couple of choices to make with what we're actually going to do with the car, how we're going to do it, what engine we're going to use. So I have a full pretty much engine here ready to be built. It's an M52 alloy block. We've got these big boy head studs that basically you drill out the block, and so that you can run these giant head studs. We've got our max speeding rods. Shout out Max Speeding Rods for sending these out. So basically this is an M52 B25 that I have the option of putting together and building and putting in our car. But we have 6 weeks approximately to build the car between when I get back from New Zealand, which is on the 9th of January, to the 24th of January, 24th of February, which is the first round of competition. And was kind of suggested that we use the current engine in the car for now because it's a healthy engine. It's making 260 kilowatts. It's good to go and kind of take pressure off ourselves when it comes to the build, so that we can spend more time, you know, on the build quality of the actual car itself, which does make sense to me. Pretty much means we'll pull the motor out, you know, with the gearbox and everything attached, pull everything off, reseal everything on the motor, and then continue to use that motor, and then we will build this motor on the side. So yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes over the next kind of couple of weeks in terms of how much time it looks like we're going to have. If we have some time, I think I will put this motor together, the forged motor, and chuck it on the dyno and make a bit more power. But if we don't have time, which is probably the likely scenario, we're going to continue to use our beautiful stock internal M52 that's currently in the car at the moment, and just tidy things up on it. That is the current plan. So right now, what we're going to do, first things first, I'm going to pull the exhaust off the car, drive shaft out of the car and all that stuff, gearbox cross member and everything off, and then I'm going to see if there's a possibility that we can pretty much drop the engine out of the bottom of the car, because I currently don't have an engine crane to lift it out of the kind of the top. So it's kind of easier just to unbolt all the suspension, subframe and everything, and then have the, basically put it down on something, undo the last bolts, and then lift the car off the motor. So yeah, first things first, let's go ahead and get some of this stuff off and see where we get to. So I was undoing the cross member, but I decided to leave one bolt in just in case, because technically the engine isn't held in by anything at the moment, because both the engine arms are snapped and it's just sitting on like the rack and the cross member and stuff like that. So I thought I'd better just leave a bolt on the back while we just keep disassembling things so the engine doesn't fall out the back or something. Not that it would, but you know, you got to take precautions. About this car is how easy it is to take everything apart. So it's not even been, it's like being an hour and a half and I've been chilling, and we're pretty much ready to kind of drop the engine out. So I've taken the turbo and stuff off, because when we drop it out the bottom, obviously as you can see the turbo and stuff will be in the way and hit the rail. For the people who have been with this channel right from the very beginning with this E36, you'll know that we've run many different turbo setups on this car, starting with the first eBay turbo setup, and that's why this chassis rail is notched out, and it's not even fully notched out. Look, there's just a hole back there. So funny for the eBay turbo setups. But we'll probably have to do it to the new chassis because Damon built this new turbo manifold and stuff out of, like, around the new chassis, or around this chassis being cut out. So we'll cut and shut it on the new chassis, but obviously we'll do a much better job of it. But yeah, we've made a massive amount of progress. So all I have to do now is just pull the wiring off the motor. We actually pull the wiring, I'll leave the wiring loom on the motor, pull it off the body, because it's just a couple of bolts this side, one bolt this side, unplug the loom right here and take the ECU out of this wee box here, lay it all on the motor, and then we undo the subframe bolts, and then it should fall out down the bottom. One thing that's crazy is I've undone all the suspension in this car from the top, and it has not moved a single bit. That is how twisted everything is up the front, and I'll show you guys from back here, because you'll see, look at the stance of the car. That's the wheel alignment. Like, that is crazy. That side's right, this is wrong, but that is how twisted this car is. So it's pretty mental when you start to look at it properly and get some perspective on it. So yeah, this shock tower's moved, that's for sure, as well. So yeah, I think it's time for a freaking new shell, and everything's just so gunky as well. So it's very exciting to clean everything up and get it back to brand new pretty much. But yeah, let's go ahead, do the last couple of things hopefully, and then drop the engine out of this car. So we're pretty much ready to pull the engine out, skip forward a little bit, all the engine looms up on top. I think there's always something still attached, but we'll see that when we kind of drop it out and pull it up. But we've got our little roller trolley, so we'll line it up as we come down with the hoist. You ready, Woz? Update, we have tyres now because the hoist didn't go down low enough, and this was too wide, so we should be good now. Maybe. Last two bolts hopefully, and then this should come out.
Drop it like a ton.
I know.
Yeah.
There you have it, guys. Look at that. Engine is out. That's the first time I've ever dropped an engine and subframe out from under a car instead of lifting it out the top. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at things. No real cracks or anything like that. This is all the damage from like the previous crashes I've had where the wheels push up into the wheel well. But the old Steed, eh? She's ready for retirement for sure. Looks so cool with the engine and stuff just there, all the suspension together. This side? Oh no, this side is even freaking bananaed as well. Wow. This side coilover. It's bent.
It is bent, bro.
Holy crap. Is that from the crash? That come?
Yeah, it could be from a previous incident, huh?
It looks like maybe it's, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know about that. And this side?
Stop breaking the hard to get stuff.
Cooked. Absolutely cooked. So it's another day, another dollar. It's bloody hot. We've got the fan cranking, which means it is officially summer. Melbourne's had some weird weather lately, but we've finally got some hot stuff. We get to sweat it out today. So now we're headed down the back of the car. So I've got all the other stuff parked away, just neat and tidy over here, chilling. And now we're gonna take the rear subframe out. Super easy though. So we just undo the top shocks, 2 bolts at the top, boom, up there. And then we undo these trailing arms, which is 3 bolts. This one I think's hardly even held in because of the crash. And then we undo the 4 subframe bolts and the whole thing just drops out. Not onto our heads though, we're gonna do it carefully. We'll let it down low. So we're gonna get that out now, and then we can go ahead and start thinking about how we're gonna pull the rest of the car out, the interior out. So lots to be done, and then I have to triple check everything because last thing you want to do is send the shell off to the scrap metal and then realize you forgot to take something out of it. So we've got to be a little bit meticulous in how we do this, but let's get this freaking rear subframe out. So of course we have a hoist, but we are laying under the car. You always end up at some point laying under the freaking car. So we've got to undo the subframe bolts, and then the jack's just holding the subframe up, so hopefully it doesn't crush us. And then we'll just lift the hoist up, hopefully, and it should come down. Let's give it a go. Alrighty, so after a bit of shimmying with this pole, I think we can lift the hoist up now. And we should see the subframe just sit on the ground, and that should be the drive line all done. Oh yeah, wait, brake lines. There's always something. And here we are. Look how bent this coilover is. She is cactus, absolutely cactus. So these are done for, which is fine. They did me really well. These are the Honda Civic fronts, the TN Super Streets that we ran in the rear. They were awesome for a while, so we'll be getting some brand new coilovers for the new shell, which is awesome. But check this out. Don't know if you can see on camera, you probably can, but that's bent one of the subframe bolts from the side that we hit, and that is quite nicely bent. So big hit, guys. Oh, so good though. Full drive line all gone. So next up, pull it down. Pretty much just taking the interior out, and the whole strip of the car is finished, which is crazy. And just like that, the whole subframe has been broken down. Everything is apart now, and I figured something out as well, which is pretty crazy. Both of the axles were broken, so that's super interesting. It means that we definitely, the cause of the crash was broken axles, but not just one, but both axles. On that layout we were running, it's like I'm in third gear coming around that sweeper, but I'm just in boost, and so when we checked up to go behind Jay, when we were coming up to the wall, we were just enough out of boost to where I kicked the clutch, snapped both axles, I guess. Car went straight, we got on the brakes, understeered straight into the wall. So very interesting. The more you know. So now what I've done is I welded a couple of bars onto the bottom of the car so that we can sit the car onto dollies on the ground to keep the shell moving, because otherwise there'd be no way for it to roll around. That way we can get it off the hoist. We're able to push it around the shop, and because I need to get it out from the hoist as well to take all the stuff out from the interior, because it's hard to open the doors with the hoist there. So now we're going to lower the car down, and hopefully my theory works and I can get it onto these dollies and it'll roll around. Alright, so that worked. We can now roll the car around very easily, which is super nice, because the worst thing ever is obviously having a car that you can't move in the workshop and having to wait for someone else to come down and give you a hand, whereas I can push this around by myself, which is really nice because I can continue to strip this thing. Obviously it's a very busy time of year, Christmas, so people can't always come down and give you a hand, and I've obviously been doing this on my lonesome, which I've actually really enjoyed. Not long to go now, and this shell is going to be going to the scrap heap. Well, there you have it. It's completely stripped. It's a sad day, but it's also an exciting day because we get to build version, I think, 5 E36, which is going to be awesome. This thing has done us so freaking well, if I'm honest. I think this done over 2.5 years of solid thrashing with the stock M52 running 260 kilowatts, and this thing's just blazed so freaking many tires. We've got a giant pile outside, 3 layers deep there, so it's definitely done its worth, and it's time for it to go to the grave. And I'm gonna leave you guys with a beautiful montage of the best times that we had in version 4 of the E36. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks as always for watching. There'll be one more video out this year, I think, of the Datsun, which is behind me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers, guys. Peace. Bye.
Got Mike Lake in the lead, Alexander Katarowski in the chase, Mike Lake in the BMW, loses part of his side skirt. Also the winner here today for this round is Mike Lake, through to the next round. the cross.